So Nagas are not homogeneous tribe, as you have mentioned. We are having like officially 16 are identified. I am one of the forward tribe, we call it. We have four forward tribe: Au Naga, Sumi Naga, Angami Naga, yeah, and Angami Naga and the Lota Naga. So we are called as forward tribe. Because in Nagaland there is a quota for backward tribe, even in job opportunities. So we are like the general, you can curiosity missing in the and the zeal, the energy, the enthusiasm is not there. To explore out, to venture out, that is not there. So just stuck in the stagnant, the same thing going on. If somebody do something, they will do that. There's no, that thing of exploring to a new place or new thing. Yeah, innovation is not there. Exactly, innovation is not there. So I advise that have mind of curious mind, and have enthusiasm, and be innovative, because future job is unknown to all of us, because now we are in the fourth industrial revolution, where many of the old jobs will be going off. So therefore we need to be innovative, and we need to have the zeal to just venture out to the unknown. My father always used to say, in a person's life there has to be hard work, determination, and resilience, and one more thing I'm forgetting. This three, consistency is needed, and it is very true, because I see that in my father-in-law. He is very consistent. He's got everything, so he is so consistent in his thing. And the most thing is that he never makes me feel like an outsider. I don't call him as father-in-law. So from beginning he said call him pa. That means father. So to both my mother-in-law and father-in-law, I call father, mother, like that.
Khulumbaike ang haino hai ani khazani takukle buk songo nonno lamsogo ani Kothok Podcast ni katal episode so how tini sangnaya thang tongo episode number 94 gan haino share finan sino episode 94 abo kaise collaboration between Kothok Podcast and Homsang hanke sino o special episodes ne is a special naroi motamukha sino madam Sientiala Lemtur monka basically a Naga woman happen batabuk sin tiparasani bo hamzak hanke sentini bin kukti khanai bini profession iti bo tabuk as an assistant professor ngai bo sociology department no Holy Cross College bo pharangi tongo abni logi logi bo bini PhD ya bin doctorate bo pursue kai tongo sin tiparasani handloom tai handicraft no ti gabri logi logi sang bini kukti khanai bini family ni kok bini husband bini father-in-law, mother-in-law, bini kok plus bini education background plus both Tripura phai botam experience khai kya botam differences no kha tam similarities no kha amno songjakon sum up khai tini sangai episode so sang kok salai nai hai and sponsor sonang shout out namu chungo. This episode is sponsored by
Timuk proudly represent vocal for local Timuk kaisha abo katharni mari poitoni mari taisini dofa hamkraini fanni mari every bottle reflect kayo sini ha sini sinimum taisini commitment norok zefrufano jekhane fano tui norok kangkhangke choose something that represents you.
co-sponsored by
एक बेहतरीन करियर सिर्फ ख्वाब देखने से नहीं, एक सही कॉलेज चुनने से शुरू होता है. वेलकम टू विनायका इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हेल्थ साइंसेज अगरतला, affiliated to Tripura University, approved by Government of Tripura, Department of Health and Family Welfare, Tripura Nursing Council and Tripura State Allied and Healthcare Council. Choose from BSc Nursing, GNM, BMLS and BMRIT. Admissions open for 2026-27. Address Airport Road, Nutan Nagar, Agartala. Join Vinayaka Institute of Health Sciences, where future healthcare professionals begin their journey.
kan mong chengna sekan okok sai ram sungo tini sini podcast ni conversation angka solely in English English be tini songo podcast khai kya nor kanli enjoy khai di hopefully I'm hopeful nor content or episode nahi nor value manana nai hanke sangte clear away without further ado let's start our podcast.
Pula, no, madam, no, welcome. Welcome to my podcast, ma'am. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. And I am fine.
So, shall we start,
Sorry.
ma'am?
Yeah, sorry.
So, ma'am, before we start the conversation, could you please tell about yourself?
Okay.
Like who you are, where you're from?
So I'm Sientiala, and I'm in Naga from Nagaland. And right now I'm in Tripura. Why? It is because my husband is from Tripura. He's a Hrangkhawl from Hrangkhawl tribe community. And I have been here since 2017.
Okay,
And
it's almost
previously,
9 years.
almost 9
years.
years completed actually. This August, I think we came in August 1st. So I mean, officially finished 9 years in Tripura. But yes, I was introduced to Tripura. I mean, I have been on and off here for quite some time. Like I got married in 2013.
13 years.
So before that also I've come, and in between during holidays I've come. So I'm kind of like getting more familiar with Tripura than Nagaland.
Okay, nice, ma'am.
Yes. And about me, I have been brought up in Nagaland for like maybe till the age of 11, 10 years,
Okay.
10, 11 years. And then my dad is actually a pastor.
Pastor, okay.
And in the pastor in a sense in the theological line, and he was transferred to Jorhat, Assam.
Assam.
So in 2000, I think in 1997, if I'm not mistaken, and there we stayed around 10 to 11 years. For me personally, I think 9 or 10 years, because in between I went to Shillong to study my class 11. I just did 11, and when I was doing my 11, my dad got transferred to Delhi.
Delhi again.
So yeah, in class 12, I was transferred to Delhi, and there on I pursued my graduation, then masters, and I worked there also. And then I got married there. When we were there itself, we got married, and after marriage we stayed there till July 2017, and we shifted here to Agartala. So that's all quite a movement in my life, from Nagaland to Assam to Delhi, now to back to Northeast, but not in Nagaland but in Tripura.
So again, welcome you back to Tripura.
Yes.
So, ma'am, like you have already elaborated, like you have had an exposure in different places, different
Yes.
areas, with different people, different cultures. But before going to that, I would just like to ask regarding your education. Like you
Education.
have pursued your education in Delhi.
Yes.
So could you please tell us about like how you went there and what stream you have chosen?
Okay. So class 10, let me start from class 10. Class 10, I passed from Carnal School, that is in Jorhat. It's a ICSC board. And after completing there, my father insisted that we have to do from CBSC course. So when he put me in Shillong, I was studying in PK Pachoria. It's a CBSC board school. That's where I met my husband. Okay, we were
Okay,
classmates for that one class 11.
Okay.
And then after that, he also changed his school, it seems. And then I also got shifted to Delhi. There I was studying in Mount Carmel School, Anand. And to get into that, I had to give an entrance test because I had one subject difference. There in Shillong, I was taking economics as well as entrepreneurship. But in Delhi, I have to choose, between either take economics or entrepreneurship. So
Can't
I
be both.
choose, can't be both. So I choose economics because initially I was interested to take economics. And my new subject was sociology there, actually.
okay.
Class 12 only I took sociology as a new subject. And then, after my exam, I got a better marks in geography. So I was in the art stream from beginning. Either I wanted to pursue commerce or arts. And during that time, though class 11, when I was interested in economics, I did not know that I will go to Delhi. And in Delhi University, to take economics, you need maths
So,
as
Miss
your
Madam,
main
it was
subject.
never planned like.
Yeah, it was never
Okay,
planned.
okay.
So right now I'm a sociology teacher, but my graduation is in geography.
Geography.
Yeah, I was studying in Miranda House, geography student, and residing in Miranda House hostel.
Okay.
So I am my alumni is there. And I did this sociology was actually something I did not plan on taking, because that time I was pursuing for competitive exam.
Okay.
There I was taking sociology as a second subject for the UPSC exam.
UPSC,
Coaching
right.
class I was taking. Side by side, I thought, okay, let me take MA course also. It was through correspondence, IGNU. I've done my master's in sociology from IGNU, and then it was just like sidekick, and I just finished that. But eventually, after finishing masters and all, I worked a bit, and during that time, there's, if you all know right now, so Alibaba.
Okay, yeah.
Alibaba and
Chinese
Alibaba
e-commerce,
Express
yeah.
were there. So me and my sister ventured out there and used to bring packages from there and sell online.
It's like export import business.
Yeah, export and import. We did for a short time, and along that we also had opened one guest house. Because during that time, lots of our community people used to come to Delhi for treatment, for admission, and there was demand. So they used to ask, "You guys are just there, just open one." So we had opened one, and till I got married, I was into that. Then after I got married, then I was we were still continuing for some time. Then my father-in-law was telling, "Why don't you give NET exam?" That time I was not so interested in academics, okay, but I had. I mean, I was and I was like always interested in reading and knowing things. And people used to say I'm a big question box, always asking questions. Okay. So, and that's what even my father is. We are always asking questions, always curious.
Them is curious mind.
Yeah, curious
We have got-
mind.
yeah.
So after that, he said, so I said, okay, let me try. First attempt I didn't clear, but second attempt I understood how it works.
Yeah.
Like it's not pass mark, it's like best people will get. Okay, initially I didn't understand because I was not into the academics. Then I started studying, in that manner. Not like, everything I studied, but in a very smart manner, how
Got it.
competitive exam you should
Got it.
study. So I studied and I cleared. I was quite surprised. How can I clear?
Okay.
My sister's friend who are from JNU are not clearing, and I had cleared.
Okay.
So I gave again, thinking that, it's maybe it was wrong result.
Okay.
So I gave again and I cleared, and I was confirmed, okay, I really cleared NET. Then I can pursue. Then I was still in Delhi, so offer came from one of our church members to work in one of the schools.
Okay.
So I took the opportunity, and that gave me a huge, platform for me.
Okay. Oh,
Though
Miss
I
ma'am,
work-
you have taught in Delhi also.
Yeah, I have taught in a school in Delhi also.
Okay.
And there, it opened up ways for me in a sense, like I was not only teaching, but they give me lots of training during that 1 year. They sent me for,
Okay.
teaching learning training.
Got it.
They sent me for lesson planning training.
Okay.
They sent me for how to evaluate answers. So since I was new and young, they have sent me to numerous places.
Got it.
Even to take students to attend and programs such as Models for United Nations. And I was exposed. It's like more than BEd. They give me lots of exposure in teaching, learning, and admin, everything. I learned a lot.
Nice.
Then, once holiday, we came back to Tripura in 2017 itself. In June, we came. Then the time we spent, and then when we went back, my father-in-law said that there's an opening in Holy Cross College. And we want you all to come back. So why don't you come and give the interview? So he called up he submitted my resume, etc. Then I came in July, first week again alone, and I give the interview, and they in the interview, board members accepted me, but I could not join then and there, because I have to give 1 month notice to
Okay,
my
got
parent
it,
workplace.
got it, yes.
So I joined. This is why I came in 1st August. So
Got
this
it.
is my completion.
You have completed
of
the cycle.
9 years in Holy Cross College. Right now I'm working as an assistant professor, and completed 9 years in
Miss ma'am, you are
Tripura.
teaching sociology.
Yeah, right now I'm teaching sociology because I finished my master's in sociology
Good.
and even cleared my NET in sociology, and currently pursuing my PhD from Tripura University.
Okay, you're doing
And,
PhD
yeah,
also at
PhD
the
also
same
I'm
time.
pursuing.
Nice.
Yeah, so almost in the verge of finishing. I hope I can finish soon. Yes, that is all about my education. And for PhD, I'm pursuing from the Center of Social Inclusion and Exclusive Policy.
Okay.
Yeah, from that.
From Delhi only, Naga?
No, from Tripura University.
Tripura University,
From
okay.
Tripura, because it's more convenient for me.
Correct.
I'm doing as a part-time scholar.
Correct.
Yes.
It was such a nice introduction, ma'am. So, ma'am, I would like to ask few things about your tribe also.
Okay.
Like people from our state, they may not be knowing.
Yeah.
They think like Naga is like a singular thing.
Yes.
But you have got lots of tribes.
Yes.
So could you please tell about your tribe or
Yes.
various other tribes?
So Nagas are not homogeneous tribe, as you have mentioned. We are having like officially 16 are identified. I am one of the forward tribe, we call it. We have 4 forward tribe: Au Naga, Sumi Naga,
Like the dominant
Angami
tribes.
Naga, yeah, and Angami Naga and the Lota Naga. So we are called as forward tribe. Because in Nagaland there is a quota for backward tribe,
Okay,
even in
got
job
it.
opportunities.
Okay,
So we are
okay.
like the general, you can say,
Among the tribes, you are
among
general.
the tribes in Nagaland.
Okay.
So because we got opportunities earlier than them.
Got
So I am from the Ao Naga community, and right now, currently our biggest festival is going on. That is known as Zangram Mung. It is a pre-harvest harvest festival. We have 2 main festivals: Moatse, which is celebrated in the 1st of May.
May.
Yeah, nowadays it's celebrated for 3 days, 1st to 3rd May.
Got it.
And like we have, do you want me to go tell about the clans and also
Now you can give briefly, ma'am. No issue.
like since I am a sociology teacher,
Sure, ma'am.
by
You
nature
can dive-
I'm
you can dive
pulled
deep, no
by
issue.
that.
No issue.
So like our Nagas have, we believe that we came from long truk, that is known as 6 stones. Long
God.
truk. Long means stone. Truk is 6 stones.
Okay.
So we have 3, Fetri. That is Pongan, Longkamer, and Jamir. So I am from the Longkamer Fetri, which if you see in clan-wise, I am from the Lemtur clan.
Okay.
So I
Among
cannot...
also Lamtur Klam.
Yeah,
Lemtur clan,
like
okay.
for us, one difference that you can see is over here, you use your surname as your tribe as your surname. Over in Nagaland, especially, I can speak about the Ao Nagas. We use our surname, that is our clan name. That's why I'm Sientiala Lemtur.
Okay.
I'm
got it,
Sientiala
got it.
Lemtur
Okay.
because clan is very important for us because we cannot intermarry same clan.
Is it?
We
Okay.
consider as brothers and sisters. Like
Okay.
we are from the same ancestor. So
Same
I cannot
bloodline.
marry a Lemtur. I have to marry a different clan, like Jamir. Like my father is a Lemtur, my mother is a Jamir. So from different clan, we cannot marry a same clan. This is why it's very important to use the clan name, and we use the clan name as our surname to identify. We are an exogamous society where we don't intermarry the same clan.
Madam, can I ask you one thing? Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
curious also.
Yes.
Because with the terms Naga, it's actually associated with Hinduism also. So is there any correlation between
No,
that Naga and this Naga?
No, because I think you're talking about the hierarchy movement, where they unanimously say it's a Naga movement, because that is a totally different thing. Because we were non-believers, in a sense, I cannot say non-believers, we were nature worshippers, and then Britisher came, Christianity was brought in. Now we are almost like overall a Christian state, just like Mizoram.
Correct. So please you proceed, ma'am.
Yeah.
You please tell about your tribes and other tribes.
Yeah, then other tribes, there are lots of, now, one unique thing again I can tell is, in Nagaland, we are divided, the administrative districts are divided into the, what word can I use? Into the different tribes. Like Mukchong belongs to our Naga tribe.
Mukchung,
Doesn't mean that
it's a
only-
location or like
It's a district. Mokchung
district.
district
Okay.
belongs to our Naga tribe,
Oh, got
which is
it.
not existing here. Kohima district belongs to Angami tribe. Mon is the Kongyak tribe. Doesn't mean the other tribes are not staying, but like Mokchung district consists of lots of villages, and all the villages belongs to the Ao Naga tribes.
Okay.
And there's no transfer of land. It's like
You
from
can buy land. How
father
can
to
buy?
son. You cannot buy land in the village also if you're not from the village. I'm from Longsa village. I cannot buy land there because I'm a girl, and it is passed on from father to son.
Okay.
So, but in the outskirts, like fields and all those, boys can buy.
Okay.
That's what I mean. I'm not too sure about it.
Okay.
But we don't have a selling system. But in town area, you
It's
can
kind
buy.
of inheritance type, like
Yeah,
you have to inherit.
inheritance. It's like from one generation to another, it's passed down.
Got it.
And except in like Mokchung town or in Kohima or in Dimapur, you can buy land. Those mixtures
That
of
means
people
even
are
the
staying.
language is not different. It's
Oh,
not
it's
similar,
vast
I
difference.
guess. It's
Vast difference
different.
is there in languages also.
So, like, how you communicate? Like, what is the state language out there?
State language is English.
Okay.
But unofficially, we are conversing in Nagamis, which is a bazaar language. It's a mixture of Hindi, Assamese, Bengali. Also, you can see because initially we have to do commerce marketing with the neighboring neighboring state. So that's how they communicated. You can say a broken Assamese or broken Hindi, like it became a Nagamis.
Got
And that's how, that's how people communicate in Nagaland through Nagamis. It became a common language for. Otherwise, state language, official language is English for us. So therefore, all the government schools are English medium
English
schools. Yes.
So, madam, now I would like to jump to the cuisine side, cuisine culture.
Okay.
Could you please tell us the difference and the similarities between Tripura community and Nagas, if it is there?
Yeah, okay.
Or what are the dissimilarities?
In the cuisines, no?
cuisines culture?
Like
Because
Nagas.
Naga food is quite popular now.
Yes, yes.
Across the country,
Yes.
it's quite popular.
It's quite popular, yes. Even here also there's one restaurant, Hornbill restaurant. I don't know whether it's going on or not, but they were providing Naga cuisine there. So coming to the Naga cuisine, like every tribe have their distinct,
Okay. Okay.
curries,
That means
you
it's
can call
not
it.
similar.
It's not similar. But we can say that we use common ingredients. Like we have fermented bamboo shoot, which we
Bamboo
call
shoot.
it pastinga. I think maybe many of them will be familiar with that word. And we have dry bamboo shoot. Dry bamboo shoot are some are like, fermented and then dried. Some are directly dried.
Got it.
And this also varies from place to place. Some are very sour, some are not so sour. And then we have among the ows, we have this the distinct curry that we have is the nushi or anishi aun. That is anishi curry,
Okay.
which is used.
What is the specialty of that curry? Like,
That is from Ao Naga special curry. That is anishi aun. Aun is curry in Ao. So anishi curry, you can say. That is made with fermented taro leaves.
okay.
You pound them and make. It's a long process, and finally it's shaped into some cookies type, and you cook that with smoked pork.
Okay.
Smoked pork. So in Nagaland as in all, I can just say that there's lots of trying of vegetables we use or lots of fermentation we use. But in Tripura, we find that apart from patima and chakui, mostly are fresh vegetables.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah. And yes, the famous fermented fish that you call it perma, right? So that is there. But
So in Nagaland, you don't take fermented fish.
we take nowadays, but we are more into dry fish, if you can see.
Dry fish. Okay.
Dry fish, if you can see, mostly dry fish. And fermented fish we use, but only for chutney.
Okay.
Only for making chutney, but not in the curry. Like over here, when I first came, it was a surprise to me that even in boiled, you will put perma. Right. So it was a surprise thing for me. So it's just like for us also in every curry, we put pastinga or dry bamboo shoot. That is our main thing. Everywhere we put the pastinga. Same here also, everywhere you put perma. So that is the thing. So, but we all eat similar vegetables are there, but some are unique to Nagaland. Some are unique to lots of unique vegetables I found here also. Now I cannot name them. I cannot remember the names, but before I didn't know how to cook those also. I learned from my sister-in-law, from my mother-in-law. They cook, and I learned a little bit. Now they say that I can cook a little bit good fermented fish curry. Now I have already mastered it since I've tried. Because over here, everybody without any in Hrangkhawl they call it natu. The
Dry
Burma
fish.
is known
Okay,
as natu.
Okay.
Okay, and the dry fish is known as ngacha.
Got it.
Nga is fish. So ngatuan they call it. So that is tribe from Burma curry that you have what do you call it? Awandru is there,
Yeah,
or
Awandru.
you have like you have Kothok, which needs fermented fish. And actually, since now I'm teaching sociology in Holy Cross College, I become very intrigued by the food habits of Tripuri, or you can say any tribe of from the Tripura. I've come to know that there are two types of tribals over here. Main two types is Kokborok speaking and non-Kokborok speaking. That is the Borok people and the Kokborok speakers like the Halam or the Tarlongs or the Hrangkhawls or Mosums.
Correct.
Then, but both of them also there is similarity in their curries. It's just that the names are different, but they almost use the same ingredients.
Correct.
And I was quite intrigued with that, so I used to do certain research work with my student. Along with my student, I used to send them to do as an assignment to search about what type of traditional curry they have, and this is how I
Oh,
came
that is,
to
madam,
know.
like our culture curry is part of sociology.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
because I'll tell you the difference. For example, if I was just a general, tourist, I will just know that, you can you give me one curry name of made with fermented fish,
Almost everything like Chakai, Mosdeng,
and then
Gudok, Awandru,
awandru, no?
Berma Butui.
Perma
Chakatang.
bate, and then awang also you have,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sticky rice, right?
Yeah.
The difference that I want, especially my students and the youngsters to know is that recipe is something, culture is something.
Correct.
So I might know the recipe in cook, but it might not taste the same as
Got
the
it.
indigenous people of
Got
here
it.
will cook.
Got it. Yeah.
It is passed down from one generation to
Correct,
another.
correct.
Like you may be able to cook the bamboo shoot curry of Nagas, but it might not give you the kick or the taste of
Got it.
how the Nagas cook.
Correct.
Right. So it has to be passed on from generation to. It is the taste is also, and it's not only about the recipe. It's about the process of cooking.
Correct. Yes.
And in that even attached there is symbolic meanings are there. Like I was discussing with my students also, like for example, awang. Awang is not the simple sticky rice for us. It is used during, so many of your festivals.
Festivals, occasions. Yeah.
Occasions, like even during the death, one of the death ceremony, to break the fasting, 13 days fasting.
Even
that
I think we
awan
offer.
is needed.
Even we offer before the god also.
Yeah, for the
most
offer
probably.
of God, juak also is
Yeah.
offered.
Correct.
The process of making is also very important, and even you can say one unique thing is also the chakui. Now we are using the bazaar soda,
Got it,
but
yes.
there is a traditional
Got it.
way of making that also.
We are lucky enough to see it. I don't think
Yes.
new generation they have
Yes,
seen those.
yeah, that's what it's actually. Recently, I was discussing that when one of my colleagues said that the material which is used to filter to make the chuak, only few people know. I said I am getting goosebumps because it's in the verge of extinction.
Excessive. Yeah, true. Very true.
So we need to document those also, and therefore, food is not just food. For me, food is memory also.
Correct. Yeah.
Food is memory,
Our
and
ancestral
food
memories.
is culture.
Yeah. Good.
So definitely for me, when I came here, I wasn't looking just at the comparison of whether the food is tasty or not, but I was looking at the emotion, the symbolic meaning, the attachment that the people have, why people are attached to certain food. And same is for me also. Like I am also very attached with my food, that is the Naga food. Why? Some might wonder, because I've said that I stayed only in few years in Nagaland, then I was in Assam, then I was in Delhi, then I'm in Tripura. So how come so much attachment with my Naga food? But the thing is, even though we were staying in different places, I was staying with my family.
Got
That
it.
is my mother, father, and all of us were staying together. And my parents, they cook good Naga food. Both my mother and father were good cooks. Though, yes, my father rarely cooked, but my mom was the one who was cooking, but both of them, fed us amazing Naga foods. So thereon, I got hooked to that. So Naga, for me, food is a memory. Food is my culture, my heritage, my identity.
True,
So
very true.
definitely coming here, for me, identifying food just as to cook as a recipe was not it for me, and I didn't want to keep it that to me. So I insisted that my student also should know that not only know how to cook with following the recipe, but identify its meaning, its cultural heritage, or its the belongingness
Correct,
of
correct.
it.
Nicely
So
put.
that is
Nicely
my
put, Nila.
idea of food.
Nicely
Yes.
put. Ma'am, even like we came to know, like you have got social media presence also. You have got one page where you
Yes.
talk about, where you document about Naga cuisines. So could you please explain like what was the philosophy behind opening that account and what you're doing now?
Yeah, like I said, though we were traveling from, residential, migrating from one place to another, the food, Naga food, was intact because my mom, we were staying with family, so I always get to eat the Naga food. But once I moved to Tripura in 2017, and then I started to miss the food, the home food.
Got it.
So, then that's when I started to cook, the Naga food. And then I thought during the pandemic, we were working from home.
Got it.
So I thought, why not document and keep? Because sometimes I I modify a little bit as well. Though I use the same ingredient, but according to how I like, I started to cook. And also, pandemic have given me the scope, the space to explore on my cooking skills. And I realized that time that, indeed I like cooking. And why I like cooking is not only because I love to eat my Naga food, but actually I have an audience, my husband.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Is not only a looking audience, but he enjoys my food, my cooked food. So it gives me the satisfaction that at least I love cooking and he loved to eat my food, and that motivated me. And since I had the time, I used to document that. And in my page, you will see even gardening, because since most time I was in the city, living and residing in city, so I was really, intrigued by this gardening. Though I am still a rocky gardener. No, I don't know much about gardening, but I love going and dirtying my hand and be in
Like
the
what you cultivate in the
soil.
garden? It's vegetable or flowers or
Vegetable. I'm not into flowers. Even my personality doesn't suit flowers. But yeah, I'm not into flowers. But when I'm talking about gardening, I'm talking about the vegetable. I love like when I plant it and see them grow, and I pluck them and use them in my curry. So I really enjoy that feeling when I
you feel
see.
like you're part of the nature.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, which I have been missing for a very long time, residing in Delhi for so many years. We did not get the chance to even touch the soil. So yeah, so Tripura give me that platform in the pandemic even more, give me the springboard to enjoy
Got
gardening and as well as cooking. And this is why, you will see my not so much growing up Instagram page, because I stopped that for a while since I joined PhD. I have been quite busy with PhD work, as well as now that new education policy is the NEB. Because of that, we are quite busy. New syllabus, new adjustments. So I got very caught up with that. But once things are over, I'm thinking of
But
resuming.
best wishes, ma'am. Try to maintain consistency.
Yes, yes. Thank you
We
so
love
much.
to see your channel grow.
Yes, thank you so much.
So, ma'am, coming to your like PhD, like the
Yes.
thesis which you are doing, could you
Yes.
please elaborate like on which topic you are doing your PhD?
Well, I'm doing on traditional handloom and handicraft
Okay.
of Tripura,
Of
okay, of tribals in Tripura, which is like,
Like why you choose that topic?
why I choose that topic. Actually, I was very interested in this when I was teaching the students. When I used to ask them, because sociology is about teaching about culture, and time and again we want to give real time examples. So when I used to ask them, they don't know, they can't identify even the commercial Rignai Risa with
Correct,
the
yeah.
traditional one.
Very true.
So with that keeping in mind, there was one seminar where it was on traditional knowledge. So I thought, why not let me just give an overall presentation on traditional knowledge of food, handloom, handicraft, everything as an overall. I give a small gist, and then I presented my paper, and I got best presenter paper there. And my supervisor really liked that paper. Then he said that you should work on this. Then I said that I think this has too many areas. So can I zoom down? Then he said, okay, you choose anyone which you are comfortable. So I choose handicraft and handloom. Though I just want to stick with handloom, but he said that take handicraft also. So I that's how I choose my topic, traditional handloom and handicraft, how this traditional handloom and handicraft can give employment opportunity
Correct.
to the tribal youth
Correct.
in Tripura.
Tripura.
So that is my PhD topic. And I have, during my PhD topic, I have visited quite a number of handloom and handicraft clusters as well. So I've seen the reality of, the status of this traditional crafts as well.
Ma'am, just like in between, I just want to ask one question. Like, is there a similarities the way we weave our clothes? Is there similarities with Nagas?
Yes. I have not learned yet, what are those the equipments called, but I saw that there are actually two types of weaving apart from the machine product, loom loom and frame loom. Loom loom is the backstrip weaving. That's what you will see in the villages.
Got it.
Every household have it. Same is done in Nagaland also. So same is done, but the thread material is different, because if I can say, Nagaland is, you can say, larger part of Nagaland is little cold places are there, while Tripura larger part is a little humid
Tropical, yeah,
and
tropical, yeah.
tropical purely. So in that context, maybe Naga people, they use more of a thicker
Shawl type, like-
a thicker wool,
Okay,
and
okay,
even
got it.
even boys have a big shawl, and the thread that is used are more thicker than the, but the equipments and the patterns are almost the same.
Got it.
It's a backstrap loom that we use, and now the government have massively introduced frame loom in most of the cluster. So frame loom also does not use any electricity or powers as such, and which now most of the centers have it. But the thing is, it's huge. People will not be able to afford. But government have given those who have enrolled in certain, projects, they give them free the frame loom to wave,
Like
or
distribution.
even they can go to the cluster and do the waving. And there is a big cluster in Kumlung also, Kumlung itself. I think that's one of the most active, as far as I've gone visited. This is one of the most active cluster I've seen in terms of handloom. And
Like, it's run by SAG or like only
no, it is
women?
it is under Directorate of Handloom and Handicraft.
Okay.
And but yeah, the initial starting is given by them, but the revenue has to be generated by selling those rignai, risa, or anything that they produce. They need to sell it. They sell it to the Probasha, that is the Director
got
of
it,
Handloom
got
and Handicraft, and that's how it is very limited. Actually, the market area is very limited, and when it comes to, like, you have asked me the difference, if I identify here. In terms of, like, I'm coming back again to culture, like, weaving is almost the same. The techniques are almost the same. But in Nagaland, what I saw is that not only tribe, like every tribe have their distinct rignai and risai. We call it Ao, we call it Sibiti. That is not, not only that, I was saying that every tribe have their own distinct Rignai and Risa. And not only that, every clan, even when I talk about our community, Lemtur have its own distinct Rignai.
Okay.
And among that, like Lemtur, among Lemtur also, maybe, among our also, there are particular, Rignai which can be worn during, marriage or party, or rich women used to wear
So
that.
variety,
And there are
variety among
varieties of
are more.
like or some one clan, like one village called Changi, they have their own sets of Rignai and Risa, which I could not, as an outsider, maybe there is, but as an outsider it wasn't visible to me.
Here.
So yeah, here it wasn't visible to me. And when I asked my students, they were unable to answer. So I started a small project every year. When the student goes to 6th semester, they have this project work, so which is a research-based work. So every time, I used to encourage few students to work on this particular theme, so that I can get some concrete, information or idea. And if at all, I'm still waiting for that such kind of student. If I get a very good student, I can work to even publish paper with them,
got it.
with the information together. But as of now, I have not got much concrete idea. But yes, I feel there is, because one student did give me different types of Rignai
There are different
pattern.
names
Yes,
also.
there are
Even
different
I'm not aware,
types.
but there are.
Yeah, there are different
Based on the
types.
motifs, there are different designs.
Based on the motifs. So even the motifs have meanings.
Correct.
Like, symbolic meanings, cultural meanings. So those also.
It's a big chapter, to be
Yeah, it's a
honest.
big chapter to talk about also, and to venture out.
Correct.
I just want to say that, to the youngster, that there's a niche area over there to explore your own identity, your own culture. That it's not only about knowing your culture, but you can use this handloom and handicraft, this artistic skills, the indigenous skills, even to have self-employment. It can create employment opportunities, even if we try, because you can explore different states, even in the northeast, like Mizoram or in Meghalaya or in Assam or in Nagaland. There are so many who are earning through this craft, this
I just want
traditional
to come to that
craft.
question only, ma'am. Like in
Yes.
Tripura, do we have that potential?
Yes, definitely.
Because these days we are seeing like that machine.
Commercial and power
it
loom.
has overtaken the traditional handloom.
Yes.
Because of the price, convenient.
Yes, but the thing is that is same for even for other states also, because these are conveniently available. But for example, if this waving is introduced in the initial years, now NAB 2020, they say that vocational will not be it will be considered as a mainstream education. Vocational subjects
Correct.
it will be in the mainstream education, so it should be inserted in the curricula itself, so that they learn how to wave or how to craft, etc. Along with that, they can introduce branding,
Correct.
or finance, how to do it,
Correct.
or social media, how to advertise,
Correct. Yeah.
etc. Marketing,
Correct.
you can introduce in the school level itself,
Correct. Yes.
let alone college. So school level itself, and for the current who are already in the system, like those who know the craft, they can be taught, they can be given first opportunity to come and teach as a master, a master teacher, to teach the waving in the schools and colleges, and they should be paid for that. And also they should be given opportunity to learn how to brand, how to market, so that the value of that attire goes up. So it's because, like, for example, you must have heard of what was her name, Jasmine Ziliang.
Okay.
She's doing a great job. I mean, now even her sons are fallen into her line of work.
Ma'am, I think we have got one stigma. Like our people, they used to assume like our dress will be only wear by our people. They have got that stigma, I guess.
Okay.
But now we can see even the people like Bengalis,
Yes.
non-Tripurus, even they're picking our attire these days.
Yes.
They used to wear.
Yes.
So I think the potential is huge.
Yes, potential huge. Not only, not the non-tribal over here, but even so many people abroad, or in metro city, they're intrigued by our culture, our tradition. They want to try out. Now many of them are even trying. This is why you will see, I was reading and, going through Jasmine Ziliang's, interviews and many of her previous old interviews also, how she have marketed her product in abroad also. So there is, scope, a huge scope is there. And I've gone to the field. So no one is doing it. Like, they are selling. Yes, definitely they're selling. Government have provided platforms. But I found what is lacking in that is branding and marketing
correct.
and packaging. These are the three very important things right now. And that is what is missing. But if our youth can bridge that gap, then definitely there will be, economic upliftment or opportunity through this.
Sorry. Now, madam, like I have a fascination about Hornbill Festival. I have never went there, but
Yes.
I just want to throw one question.
Okay.
Like, why can't we, Tiprasa, why can't we replicate the same formula, the same template here? Like, we don't have any big festival like Hornbill. So, could you please like put your insight into that?
Like Hornbill, even I have visited only once, and that was during the 25th year. And I've taken my student during that time because I want to show my student how culture is, shown and how you can make it into a commercial means also. So the thing is that when I interact with students also, most of them don't want to go outside Tripura to study. I still can't understand why it is so. I asked them many times, after graduation, will you go out? No. And some, even for graduation, they went out once and then they came back because they miss home. But if you don't go out, you will not know what is going on. So exposures are needed. So I think schools and colleges should take them, out to see the things, what is going on outside Tripura. Then you will get ideas. Then once you get ideas, that, that feeling will come. That, we should, involve in such kinds of events. So I saw that small events are there in Tripura as well. In fact, actually, those are big. It can be made into a big event.
Yeah.
But there is lack of cooperation and communication at times, I feel. Though
Even
means
I feel
I'm not-
we are not confident enough as a
Yes.
people. We are not confident.
Maybe
That's what I feel.
Yeah, maybe because I'm not a part of that management team, so I cannot say. But as an outsider, like, most of the people who are involved are not even the young ones. Only those usual housewife or those restaurant people are only opening. The youngsters are not getting
Not
involved.
coming, yeah.
But now I see that in other states, there are even pop-up markets. Forget about festival. There are even pop-up markets. They sell their stuff. So I think, youngsters should not, be like, I should say, those baby boomers where, such kinds of involvement in selling things are cheap, labor. You should not think like that. So we are actually stereotyping certain job
Correct,
as beneath us.
Correct,
I think that is one reason that we should do away with. So we should consider all job or all occupation as something that we are proud of. And I think that is one thing I can say personally, that, because of that stereotyping, the mindset, or we are still, having a colonial hangover where we want only those civil servant jobs and or UBSC or DBSC, we call it here. So we are hung up to that. And we are not, some of the youngsters might be very good in cooking. In fact, they're very good in, vlogging and, being a very good influencer. They know the ways. So definitely, once they are part of those festival for selling, maybe showcasing their talents through the handicrafts or the handlooms or the food, or many others are there. So if they can do it, they can pull out even the crowd, not only selling on the spot during the festival, but even supplying it to the outer, apart from Tripura itself, it can be sent out, and then people will come to know. Just like Hornbill was a small festival in the beginning,
Oh, it was
but
a
now
small,
it's
okay,
became
okay.
international. So it takes time, and it takes even huge involvement of the government is also needed
Correct.
to provide. Just like, in Hornbill, different competitions are there. It is sponsored by many by governments, and everything. Here also government involvement has to be there,
Yeah.
where local artists are also given opportunity, not only bring in outside singers, musicians, or outside artists or artisans, but the local, artists, artisans, or musicians should be given the platform, a proper platform, not only for the sake of 1 2 tick mark and there's some representation is there, but there should be contests and prizes will be given, and then that will motivate even
Correct, yes.
those youngster to participate, because there's so many, and they should also look up to other areas, avenues where they can learn to make it little standard.
Correct, correct.
There are taking place, but very I can say in a very local way it is happening, but we need to level up to a national, international level, so that people will come and be a part of it.
Then is,
Because
ma'am, collective effort is still missing.
yeah, collective effort is missing. I'm sorry to say, but community feeling is a little bit lagging.
correct.
In
It got diluted.
Yeah, it got diluted.
So, ma'am, now I will come to your family.
Okay.
First, I would like to ask how you met with our Borkung sir,
Okay.
and you are living among like popular personalities. Like Borkung uncle sir is
Yes.
popular. Even our Bikar uncle sir is quite popular.
Yes.
Now,
No.
hopefully after this,
Maybe after
you'll get the
this.
fame. Yeah. So my question is like how you met with him, and apart from that, like we all like normally we see him on the stage, like
Yes.
he's a artist, as a
Yes,
singer,
yes.
on stage and at home. How different is he?
Personality, yes,
personally.
yes.
Could you please explain us?
Okay. So like I said, when I was discussing about my early life, I met my husband in Shillong. We were just classmates then. And then he changed his school thereafter, and I moved back to Delhi. And during the maybe end of graduation, almost end of graduation, we met in one cafe.
Oh,
Like he was
okay.
there for some sound engineering classes or something I was attending, and I was volunteering in one cafe. Like it was like a machinery, coffee cafe where students can volunteer and help in their free time. So I was volunteering there with my roommate, and my roommate, me and my husband were classmates in class 11. So we saw that it looks familiar, and we just said Porkung. Then he looked, yeah. Then that's how we got connected again.
Okay.
Then eventually, after years or so, we became, a couple, and then we got married. After I think we didn't date for so long. We just dated for like 2 years, and then we got engaged. And after 1 year, we got married in 2013. So now we're over 12 years. I
Over a
think, after
decade.
marriage. Yes, over a decade we are.
Yeah.
And as he is a blessing for me. He's a blessing for me, I must say, because he is not only an amazing husband, but he is an amazing father. And he involves so much into raising his son, which, in this society, it is not expected. But I find him so much involved with his son. It is actually, he is more involved than me, I must say. He is the one. My son have certain challenges. He have his social skills are not, as per the scale as he should be, and his talking skills also. So it is my husband who spends time with him to teach him whatever he's talking right now is also what my husband have taught him.
Okay.
And he is a very caring person, and on stage, he totally changes his personality.
It's a different personality,
He's
okay.
very totally different. But at home, he's a very quiet person, and he's quite reserved, and but doesn't mean he's not. He talks. Okay, but he's a reserved person. But if any of my friend comes, he will interact with him. He'll talk, and he is such kind of person. It's not like he doesn't talk. It's just that he doesn't say much about himself or what he feels. He keeps to himself.
Okay.
So and he is like a normal person to us at home.
Okay.
No, he never behaves with an air. At home, he is a very humble person and very down to earth. The very thing I like about him is he's very God-fearing, and which keeps him grounded, and he stays with humility. And same is with my father-in-law also.
Correct. Yeah.
I never feel that I'm staying with any celebrity at home.
Yeah.
Even my father-in-law is like one of the most humble person I've seen. And he never imposed on us, to do anything. Even he never asked me to make tea and give him also.
Okay.
Even if I'm there and he wants to
Okay.
drink
He's
tea.
not demanding.
No, he never
doesn't
asks
expect
me.
anything
He doesn't
from-
expect
okay.
from me anything. And if anything involving us, he will always ask us, should we do like this? Are you okay? Can we, like when we have to go to Guwahati, when are you free? You tell me, then we will go. He always asks us. He always, he don't, he is respected not because he's imposing power on us, but because of how humble and because of how, caring he is.
That means he's a true gentleman.
Yeah, he is a true gentleman. And he is also very, very, disciplined man. Every day he'll wake up at the same time.
Okay.
And his food habit is, it's like I was, inspired by him, the way he controlled his food. This is why after he became very sick also,
Yeah,
he
descend
recovered
always,
very
yeah.
fast. Within few months he recovered, and he have lots of zeal and determination in him. And that is what my father always used to say, in a person's life there has to be hard work, determination, and resilience, and one more thing I'm forgetting. With this three, consistency is needed, and it is very true because I see that in my father-in-law. He
has
is
got
very
everything.
consistent.
He has got everything.
He's got everything.
Okay.
So he is so consistent in his thing, and the most thing is that he never makes me feel like an outsider. Like I don't call him as father-in-law. So from beginning he said call him Pa. That means father.
Correct.
So to both my mother-in-law and father-in-law, I call father and mother like that. So I never felt like somebody outside. They always included me as a part of the family.
Got it.
So that is what, both my husband and my father-in-law has been not only, being, humble and welcoming me, but they also even encourage me in my personal life. They encourage me in my professional life also. My father-in-law is the one who said give net exam, and he encouraged me to work also. And even my husband always, like, nowadays, I'm quite cranky because of my PhD exam. I mean, PhD thesis going on, and workplace also, so many responsibility, and at home also. So, but my husband never, he helps me in household work also at times. You'll be surprised. I cannot tell what he does, but
Okay.
he does help me, not only in, raising our son, but he helps me in other things also. And he supports me a lot and motivates me a lot. And even the same with my father-in-law also. So I've got amazing family. So I don't feel, too far away from home, even though I have been already 9 years,
9 years.
staying away from home, because I have always been with my home. My entire travel time, it's always with my family. We are a very closely knitted family. But despite that, staying here very comfortably have, made me, become a part of, like, I'm in my home only. When I go there also, I'm at home. Here also, I'm at home. So that's what I feel.
Very nice, ma'am. Very nice. So, madam, before we wind up, my last
Okay.
question to you will be like, what message or what advice would you like to give to the young generation,
Young generation.
both boys and girls?
Okay, I would say that have a curious mind. If you have a curious mind, you will search for if even if it's for opportunity, even if it is for anything, to know your identity, your culture, everything, you need to ask a question. A question mark has to be there
Correct. Yeah.
in you, so that you will succeed in life. Because, for example, many of my students, they want to go, let's say they might want to go abroad, but if they don't ask around, if they don't question us when we ask us, they don't ask. That's what I found missing.
I think that's part of human also.
Yeah,
like,
that's part of
being
human.
human is like we should
Yeah,
be curious.
yeah, we should question.
Yeah.
But over the years of 9 years teaching, of what so a small amount of students I get, but I found the curiosity missing in them.
Okay.
Curiosity missing in them, and the zeal, the energy, the enthusiasm
Not
is
there.
not
It's
there.
lagging. Yeah. Okay.
To explore out, to venture out, that is not there. So they're just stuck in the stagnant, the same thing going on. If somebody do something, they will do that. There's no, the thing of, exploring to a new place or new thing.
Innovation
Yeah,
is not.
innovation is not there.
Okay.
Exactly, innovation is not there. So I advise that have mind of curious mind, and have enthusiasm, and be innovative, because future job is unknown to all of us, because now we are in the fourth industrial revolution.
Correct, yeah.
Where many of the old jobs will be going
Going out, yes.
off.
Going out.
So therefore, we need to be innovative, and we need to have the zeal to just venture out to the unknown. That's what I can say.
Ma'am, so nice of you, ma'am. Like, I really feel good. Like, you have come to my podcast
Okay.
and you have shared your experience with us. It was really nice. So, last question, madam. Last question. How you felt coming to my podcast?
How do I feel?
How is your experience?
I feel good. It is actually first time I have been pestering my husband, why you have to send me to podcasts. I have never experienced podcasts, but in your podcast, you make me feel comfortable, and I really like the setup also. It's very nice and very comfortable, and the questions also were very appropriate for me, as you have already identified me, I think, beforehand, what type of question will suit me. And that was a very good.
My
You already-
team,
your
they have
yes.
my team, they have worked hard.
Yes, you have done your research, and that's a very good thing that, before you invited me, you have already done a round of research, and your team have made me comfortable before I reach here also on the topic, made me revise, and that was the best part.
The kudos goes to my team only. I have little inputs in the questions.
But it was amazing.
So thank you,
Yes.
ma'am. We'll meet again.
Yes, thank
And
you so
best
much.
wishes.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Hambai ani khazari takok tai pukok sono nong haino hai pai fle hamba ya farnam chungbu ta hamale no kha kolok hai o episodes bai buk kerengbai pai thak jora nai mani bagai plus no ano abai keno support khai tang mani bagai angkang nong na haini kok kachar filai ang phaini hati barombo ang nong bagai katal episode katal topic no tubuna ni bagai ang chai tegui tamu ani team bai kenong na kong sanai kaham tongdi kaham wansungdi tai jati no hamjak di let's listen, learn and grow together. Hambai.